Hi all, welcome back. I'm Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my Flosstube where I talk about all of my cross stitching and show you what I've been working on, and we talk all things cross stitching, occasionally knitting, but I have too much cross stitch to show today, so I'm not going to show the little tiny bit of knitting I have been doing. It's good to be back. It is Wednesday, April 2nd. And I'm here to talk about everything that happened in March, which was my birthday month. I missed coming back in the middle of March, so there was a lot of stuff to show. I was just unwell. Apparently you do turn 50 and fall apart. But I'm better now and on the road to being even more better. Oh, that sounds terrible. I was not feeling well. TLDR, was not feeling well. Thought I had a little bit of norovirus until I had a gallbladder attack, which I had never had before, and thought I was dying. And if you've had one, then you probably relate to that. And so I have had some doctor's appointments and imaging, and I'm going to hopefully be having my gallbladder out at the end of the month. In addition, I have a little basal cell that needs to be removed. This is my PSA to please go get your annual derm check. If you are fair skinned, if you live in a very sunny climate, are outdoors a lot, like me, grew up in the 70s and 80s when we didn't so much do sunscreen, just go get your annual derm check. This was just found on my annual derm check, and we're going to get that taken care of too here in a little bit. So, but I did not let it stop me from fully celebrating my 50th birthday with all the big starts. So let's just jump right in because I have a month's worth of stitching to show. And I also want to preview the things that I'm going to be starting the first half in April here. So we're just going to jump right in and show all the things. So the first things that I normally show are not my new starts. For those that might be new here, I spent last year getting my WIP list. A WIP is a work in progress, getting my in progress projects under the count of 50. And then this year I am starting 100 things to celebrate my 50th birthday. That was just a week and a half ago. However, there are a couple things that I work on that are not new starts, and I usually show those first. So the first thing is my strand a day, daily 30, 25/7 stitch, whatever you want to call it. And I had been working on Fragments in Time, and it is in fact a finish. This is the only finish I have to show. So we're gonna show it first. So this is Fragments in Time, the 2018. Mine says 2025 because that's when I finished it. And look how gorgeous it is. So this is on a 32 count linen in Stars Hollow blend by R&R, and I stitched it in mostly called for colors. I did change out the yellow. I think it called for, I can't remember what it called for, but mine was like brown. It wasn't really yellow when I started this in 2020. And so I just picked something I had in stash. And then also somewhere along the line, I ran out of the antique rose, but I had a forbidden fiber. And then the antique rose that I had was a different color, but I had a forbidden fiber that was like matched exactly. Like you can't even tell. So there it is. So beautiful. Yay. And I'm so excited because I'm going to be starting another Fragments in Time. So here we go. I'm going to, maybe that'll be my screen grab. So that was a big finish. Very excited about that one. And now I need to see about getting it framed. All right. So with that daily stitch finished, I needed to pick up a new daily stitch. Now, The responsible thing to do would have been to go back to my whip list and pick like one of my older whips. And I had a couple that I had in mind already. I have, Game of Swans by Long Dog Samplers, Dog's Declaration by Ink Circles. Those were some of the ones that were kind of floating around in my head. However, instead, I started a different project. And this is not, I'm not counting this as one of my 100 starts, because this is my 100 starts. I'm planning to just start them and then carry them as whips. This being a daily stitch, it could, I don't know that it's going to be finished just the way the magazines come out, but I'm just not counting it because it's my rules and I don't have to. But this is a year-long stitch along and just cross stitch. I am sure you have seen it. It is absolutely amazing. Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine. And so this is the spring 2025 edition, and you get the spring section. And then in the summer, you're going to get summer, autumn, fall, or autumn, winter. So, and ever since I saw this, when I got the magazine and saw this, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Couldn't stop thinking about it, wanted to start it, and then just decided I was going to start it as my daily stitch. So this will be my daily stitch until either I finish that section, or like if I finish the spring section before I get the summer magazine, which I don't think is going to happen because I think I'll get summer maybe at the end of this month. I'm not really sure. Then I'll pick something else until the next section of this comes out, but I hope that made sense. I feel very rambly today. Anyhow, it's charted in all DMCs, and they give you the list for the full piece. So you can see, like, obviously, like, these are autumny colors, but the spring colors were just speaking to me. I really wanted to do them. And I'm even doing it on called for fabric. So the called for fabric is Into the Veil by Be Stitch Me, which I happen to have kitted up with a start for later this year. I'll just find something else for that start because the fabric is too good for this. So here's where I am so far. Isn't it so pretty? I'm telling you, these flowers are no joke. There's quite a bit of stitching. I mean, I had no preconceived notions about how big this was. Like I knew how big it was, but it's a lot of stitching in there. But this is what I have so far. So this is all the way over to the end. So summer starts here and we'll come over. So here's where I am so far. There's some like buds to put in here, and then I'll work my way down. But look how this is actually coming out. I'm getting some nice, like, not too sunny natural light coming in. This is like a perfect representation of the fabric. Into the Veil by Be Stitch Me. And it was too perfect not to pull out of that other project. So good. So good. So I'm really enjoying that. And there's probably a hashtag for that stitch along. I know lots of people started it. Very exciting. I love it so much. Love it. Okay. Another project that I work on, kind of in between my starts, is my Long Dog Leap Year my Long Dog Leap Year piece from last year. And that is pointed fifth. I'll put a picture up here of what it's going to look like what the full pattern looks like. And so I work on this in between starts when I can, with the goal of finishing this by 2028. Yes, so I need to get on it. It just needs consistent work is the thing. So we're giving it consistent work this year. And I'll put a picture up here of where it was last time you saw it and where it is now. I feel like I didn't get as much work on this past month as I did in January and February. And I think that's largely a function of the starts that I had in March, quite a few of them were really big. And so I wanted to spend more than maybe 2 days on them to give them a decent start. So I feel like this didn't get picked up as much, but I still feel pretty good about the progress I had. So I've got a thread hanging there. Don't mind my thread. But I filled in this archway and pillar, and I almost got this whole vignette done. There's a big flower here that I need to finish up, and then I'll just work my way down. So that's, I'll give you a close-up. It's unwieldy to hold. It's a lot of fabric. Give you a close-up of where I was working. And this is being stitched on 32 count, no, not 32, 36 count Tephra by Cedar River Linens with Mrs. Sada's Silk in River is the main part, and an NPI 836 maybe? I can't remember. For the animals and scenes inside the arches. So there we go. That is Pointed Fifth. Love that piece so much. It's always so fun to stitch on. And when I do pick it up, the evenings I do pick it up, I'll get, that monochromatic stitching. I'll get several hundred stitches. All right. The last older whip that I'm giving some work this year in between starts is And a Forest Grew. I'm participating in Motif a Week and putting in one motif a week on And a Forest Grew, which I typically do on Sundays. So this has gotten a few motifs since you've last seen it. I'll put a picture of what it looked like up there. And here it is now. Yay. So I am almost done with this page down here. I think I started the bird and then realized I didn't have the right colors. And then there's a tree here that's half on this page and half on that one. But I think I've put in this tree, these little trees, this bunny, that tree, these ones. There's quite a few. This has filled out quite a bit since you saw it last a month ago, because I had like 4 weeks of motif a week. So there it is. There's my And a Forest Grew, and the forest is a growing. So very exciting. Once I get the last little bits in here, then I'm going to come up here and we'll work my way left. I am an in-hand stitcher, which is why you see I tend to start in the upper left and work my way down, and I will roll this way and hold my fabric in my hand as I stitch. So that's why my pieces are worked the way they are, and why this edge is always curling, because it's usually rolled up as I'm holding it. So I did cut it off the bottom. I think maybe I had done that last time, but I still have way more than I need on the other side. That's okay. At least it's a little less of a lap blanket now. Okay. So that is all of my older whips and new starts that don't count as new starts. I mean, they count as a new start, but not part of my 100 starts. So let's get to all the things I started last month. And things did get a little like jumbly and funky there in the middle of the month. And so these are in no particular order. I just have a pile of projects. I do know that I started the month off with starting hands-on design. Let's talk spring. So I have I cut these apart too. Look at this. Because I had this on one big piece of fabric. So I had finished autumn last year. So autumn was done, and I already had winter started. And so this year, as part of my 100 starts, I wanted to start spring and summer, and I'm starting them in their respective seasons. So you're going to see a lot of spring seasonal stitching this month. So here is my start. You can see I still have all the rest of it down here. This is a 16 count, I believe a 16 count. Yes, a 16 count Aida in Dirty Chalkboard by Bee Stitch Me. And there is my start on spring, which just says spring. And I still need to get some of the green shading in on it. But, so this was not the most impressive start, although that's more stitching than it looks like. It started. It is started now. And I actually should measure out and see how much I have left on the bottom, because I think I want to use this fabric. I'll have plenty. I actually will probably just turn it this way and start. Another doesn't count as a start I think I'm going to be doing soon is Jen of Jen's Fiber Web. I will link her below so you can go check out her Flosstube because it's amazing. Has released a couple patterns lately on Ko-Fi that she's donating the proceeds to the ACLU, and she has an amazing one with like, it looks like maybe a lotus flower that says resist, that I must start. I have purchased it. I must start. It's not very big. It'll probably be a start and finish. I might take it with me as plain stitching on a trip I have next week. So that might just end up on the bottom of spring. But this was my spring start. All right, little aside. I'm a yapper. I don't know what to tell you. That's how things go. We get distracted. I get distracted a little while talking about cross stitch. It happens. All right. The next seasonal start I had is in here with a bunch of others, and this bag, look how amazing, holds all 4 of my projects for a year in the woods. I'm doing 4, 1 for each season. So I already started. What was the winter one? You would think I would remember this. It's in here. You all know what my winter start was. Can't find it. Raccoon is my spring. Try not to get too distracted, Erin. All right. So these call for 2 overdyes and then DMC. And so I just pulled from my stash these 2 that kind of match the overdyes that were called for. And then the rest is just DMC. And I am stitching this on a 36 count linen bicolor and cotton, and this was like a oopsie limited edition die. And there is my start on the raccoon. The fox was my winter start. So my spring is raccoon. I think that's pretty accurate. It's a little brighter, not that like muddy of a fabric. It's just like a little bit brighter of a green than it's showing here, but that is my start, which like right now, I think for some reason he looks like a Lop-Eared bunny or something, but there's my start on this amazing raccoon. I love these charts. They're really fun to stitch. And someday I will have all 4 of them done. But this year we're just starting them. Okay, so that was raccoon. Let's see, what's next on the pile? Oh, as it follows over. Oh, this was absolute perfect. Immortal. Buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. I thought this would be a perfect start at the beginning of March when Nashville was going on, because I did in fact buy a bunch of things from Nashville Needlework Market. One you'll see because it's a start, but the rest I'm going to show in a couple weeks when I come back for like a mid-April update, just because I was worried that this was going to be long with lots of things to show. I purchased mostly Night Garden patterns plus a couple other things. So, but this is my mantra in March when I am on Abby Topknot's store. When I'm on Top Knot Stitcher website, putting things in my cart like I am immortal. So I'm stitching this on 36 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. And I don't know what the called for is, but I just pulled 3 colors from my stash. That looked good. This is Forbidden Fiber Co. Bounty Hunter. So definitely Star Wars. And these Color and Cotton had no name. So I don't know if they came in a box or were just like oopsie dies. I'm not real sure. And here is my very wrinkly start. I just wanted to make sure I had all 3 colors in to make sure that they work together. And just look how pretty. Look how pretty that is. So pretty and dusky and perfect on this flannel flower linen. Oh, so wrinkly. There's a little bit of top border and a bee. Buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. And clearly I cut this off. I think maybe I'm using the rest of this fabric for something else. Or maybe I just decided it was too pretty to hang out in this project bag forever and the rest of it had to go in stash. And since I had gone all the way across the top, I knew how wide it was going to be. Okay, now we're coming into the St. Patrick's Day Irish section of the projects. And I started with my friend Stephanie and a couple other people, an Irish Blessing by Tiny Modernist. So pretty. Those little pops of teal. So good. So good. And this is just all DMC. All DMC. She also has an anchor list for if you have anchor flosses, and there they are, just all the greens and teals and a little pop of orange. Perfect. I am stitching this on a 32 count white linen. I think that's maybe what it called for, and I just thought it would look great. Yep, calls for just white. And if you stitch it on a 32, like a 14 or a 32, it fits in an 8x10 frame. So I went with it. 32 white, and there is my start, which doesn't look like much because it needs a whole bunch of like stems backstitch, but I wanted to get at least down to that big teal flower. So not the most impressive start in the world, but it's a start. It's a start. And yeah, that's a fun one. Love Tiny Modernist. Such good patterns. Okay. However, I couldn't stop at just one. I couldn't do just one Irish St. Patrick's Day start. And so I had to also start Stitchy Pros, Outnumber the Shamrocks. This was a Nashville release last year in 2024, which I snapped up at Nashville along with the floss pack. It calls for 5 cottage garden threads. And if you stitch this, or I think she has another pattern out this year that's also in cottage garden threads. Spring for the cottage garden threads. It's just 5, and they are absolutely stunning, amazing. So here's the ones I've used so far. Is it 5? It might just be 4. Oh, nope, it's 5. Let's look at these. They're so pretty. They're so good. And then this one that I haven't had a chance to use yet. Look at that. Okay. I am stitching this on 36 count Coral Canyon by Color and Cotton. And here is my start, and you'll see what I mean by these threads. They're just so pretty. I'm just so happy with like how they're looking on this fabric. This was not the easiest thing to stitch. I got a little lost in the sauce and had to double, triple count a lot, but so worth it. And then look, like these shamrocks here are these clovers are each in like one green except for the center. But that's what I'm talking about with the with the cottage garden threads. Like, look at the variation on them. So good. So there's my start on Outnumber the Shamrocks. Love it. Love it so much. It might not come back out again until next year, but there it is to start. Okay. Now I think we're getting into the great, big, beautiful projects. I saved some like special projects to start during my actual birthday month, but I do tend to lean towards great, big, huge projects. I also stitch medium and just normal large projects, but the ones that I really love, that really grab my heart, are huge. I tried to not just start huge projects this year, but some of them were really huge. Okay, the first really huge one, Spring Quaker by Leela's Studio. And did y'all see she did release winter? She did release winter in her national releases, so I'm set. All 4 of these are getting started this year. This series might be a lifetime project for me to get all 4 done, but so good. This one, I think, was her first one that she released and is mostly over dyes. And I think I'm doing all called for. However, the rest are mostly DMC. So they get a little easier to kit up if, you know, just DMC is more accessible. But this one, and I believe she provides, nope, lies. There's no conversion, but you can find those online if you wanted to do all 4 of them in DMC. So there's the threads. I am stitching this on 36 count Love Letter by Color and Cotton. And here is my start. My wrinkly start. Always wrinkly. It does hurt my heart a little bit that I did not finish this motif, and I may pop back and finish it if I have a little extra time someday before it truly goes back on the shelf. But for now, there is my start on Spring Quaker. Do I wish that it was more of a start? Yes, I do. Was I very ill that week? Yes, I was. That's okay. These are all just starts. They're all just starts. Okay. The next one was the project that I started on my birthday. So this was the birthday start for the year, and that is a peacock, a unicorn, a badger. Anytime I've seen somebody stitching this, I know I got to see Amy Gable Stitchers like in person at Stitch New England a couple years ago. Like, it just, every time I see it, I want to start it. So I finally did. I am stitching this. Now, this is huge. There are so many stitches in this project. I don't know how many. I don't want to know, but so many. So I decided that instead of stitching, all of this is stitched. It's full coverage as charted. But I decided instead of stitching all this background, I was going to put it on this absolutely amazing piece of Cedar River linen in arboreal, and not stitch the background, because it is like, it's perfect. Like, do you see the perfection? It is perfect. I think I can almost stitch just about everything on this fabric. Let me find. Now you do need a half yard of it. In 36 count, you do. I am stitching this in the DMC. It's charted in MPI and DMC, and I'm using the DMC. And here is my start. Amazing. It's so good. That's more correct. It's going to get blown out as I get closer, but there is my start on a peacock, a unicorn, a badger. And someday this will be a focus piece, and But for now, I'm just so happy to finally have this kitted up, started, officially a whip. And thank you to everybody that started with me or has been cheering me on and all my starts. I feel like this month I had so many people starting things along with me. It was really fun to get your DMs and see everything. All right. This I thought was going to be my first start of the month, and it ended up being my last start of the month. And that is Sir Thomas by Glendon Plays. Now, I think in my last video, I told you that this was going to be my first start, and I sat down to start it, and I had ordered from 123 Stitch the called for fabric and all of the specialty threads because it calls for a lot of Rainbow Gallery threads and the beads. So I had used that, you know, put those things in the cart, and I don't know if it was their mistake, my mistake. I didn't notice it came with a fat quarter of fabric. And he doesn't quite fit. I mean, he would have fit. I could have started him, but I would only have like an inch margin. And that's just not enough because I want him framed. Normally, I don't mind having a tight margin. If I'm going to shove it in a frame myself or if it's going to be a pillow, I will give myself horrifying margins. But for a piece like this, I needed more than an inch. So I just ordered a bigger piece of fabric. And I had to wait for it to come. But it did. And I finally got a start on it. And I did decide to do the corn because I had ordered all the, you know, all the specialty threads. So I had them. And so my start on Sir Thomas is a sparkly corn. Are you going to be able to see that sparkle? It's sparkly corn. It's sparkly corn, y'all. This was, and you know what? Everybody was right. This was super fun to stitch. I still need to do the like long tassel pieces, but I got the bulk of the corn in, and that silk lame braid, so fun. I'm not usually an even weave stitcher, but it's going called for this. I think was the right move. It was the move because this is a 28 count. Yes, 28. Like, I'm not usually a 28 stitcher. I'm not usually an even weave stitcher. I have maybe 3 projects on even weave. But it's the move here. I'm telling y'all. It's the move. Especially with that silk lame sparkly. Oh, I love it. See, I love touching it. I love seeing the sparkle. So fun. I'm going to have to bring him back out again, I think, in November. Sir Thomas. He's so handsome. He's so regal. He's so gorgeous. Oh, goodness. All right. So that's Sir Thomas. And then my last start, I have so many. I was on a call with some of my dear friends, and this was a start that just couldn't wait. I am counting this as one of my 100 starts. I had an extra spot just in case there was something that absolutely needed to be slipped in, and Disagree by Rebel Stitcher, it had to take that last spot in my lineup. This was a national release. You can get it from Abby Top Knot. You can probably get it at Rebel Stitcher Designs. And absolutely amazing, gorgeous. It's charted in one color. It's charted in Classic Colorworks Granny Annie, which is this beautiful blue. But I've had this that I believe I got in Nashville last year. Cottage Garden threads. See, we're going to talk about Cottage Garden threads this month. Last year, I believe it was at Nashville, they put together these Stitcher palettes that were 4 sets of 4. So there's one, what they call a hero floss, that is multicolor. So you can see that's the blue to the green to the plum. And then you get those colors as tonal variations. And I just thought this would be the most perfect, gorgeous palette to stitch this in. So I am doing it on a 36 count Mushroom Bold by Color and Cotton. Fantastic neutral. And here is my start on Disagree. So there we go. So you can see this is that Hero Floss. So you can see how that variegates through all 3 colors. And then there's the green and the plum. And I'm going to do all the words in blue, in the blue. So now that I have these in, my plan going forward is to do all the words with the blue, and then I'll know how much blue I have left to put in around with the rest of the Quakers. I love a Quaker. And yes. So Disagree Sal. There is a hashtag for that. Disagree Sal. Join us. You can get the chart at Abby's shop and hit it up from stash. If you're going to do it on 32 count, because the model is stitched on 32 count, you need 7 skeins of floss. Just heads up. I'm doing it on a 36 and with 1 strand. So I assume that this is done with 2 strands. So 32, 2 strands, you need 7 skeins. These Cottage Garden are 10 meters. So there's a little more on each of these. And since I'm only doing 1 strand, I think that this should be plenty. But heads up, if you're doing it on 32, make sure you have enough floss. All right, that's it. That's all the things I started. Wow, I got through that faster than I thought I would. Because that was quite a bit of stitching this month. So it's not actually all my starts. I have one more. When am I starting this month? It's April 2nd, so I've already had a start this month. I'm going to go through what I'm going to start in the next couple weeks. So if you have these charts in your stash and you want to stitch along, start along. I'm not stitching the whole thing of any of these, but if you want to start along with me, that would be great. So the first thing that I've already started is my turkey pattern for this month, which is much smaller than Sir Thomas. It is Turkey and Pumpkin Pie by Primitive Needleworks. She's chasing a turkey and a pumpkin that is running away from her, including the pumpkin. It's so funny. Okay, and I started this last night, but you'll see it again because I'm going to work on it tonight as well. And actually, depending on how close I get, I might just finish it. I'm doing this totally like threads from stash. Look at is this truly upsetting anybody? Probably, because my threads are kind of a bit of a mess. But I think it's charted in DMC. It is. It's charted in all DMC, and I just pulled overdyes from stash because I have them. And so I can. I'm stitching this on a 32 count After the Harvest by Be Stitch Me. And here's my start. So this is what my After the Harvest looks like. So I kind of picked a corner that, I don't know, where I thought everything would show up really well. So there's my start so far on Turkey and Pumpkin Pie. So I think I can probably get this done in the next day or two. I have a feeling that this will be a finish when I come back in a couple weeks. But there it is. There's the start. Turkey and Pumpkin Pie. I just think it's so funny. So funny. Her chasing the turkey and pumpkin with an axe. Okay, so that's the first April start. And then I went with a lot of flowers because April showers bring May flowers. So I went with quite a few flower patterns this month that I had in my stash. And one of them is Fracture Flowers by La Di Da. La Di Da, yeah. This is charted in DMC and one Gentle Arts, but it looks like I also converted that to a DMC. So I'm doing mine in all DMC. Oh, yep, here they are. Look at that. These are floss chips from Adam Hart, and I love them so much. Last year I did 324 by Works by ABC and used that as my motivation to get a full set, a master set of DMC, and they're all on these thread tips, and I love them so much. That is not a paid promotion in any way. I just really love them, and you'll see them a lot. But I do also very much love this color palette. We'll probably need to get some more 501 of my master set. But so pretty. And I'm putting that on this Mystic Owl 36 count linen by Color and Cotton. Just a beautiful light gray. It's a little more gray than it's showing up here. That's maybe a little better, but there it is. Ooh, now I'm really excited to start this. Whew. I have a feeling it's going to be so much prettier than that cover photo, as they often are. Okay. And then I do have some traveling to do next week. So I have a couple projects that are smaller that I am housing together because they're going on the same fabric. So I'm very sad. The past couple years I have gone to Stitch North. I'm not going this year because I'm already going to be going back east twice in the next in a month for some very important events for my daughters, including my middle daughter's graduation from college. I'm so excited for her and so proud of her. So no Stitch North for me, but my friends and I that we normally do Stitch North together are taking this year off. Last year, one of them gave me this chart, Stitching with Friends. And while I was there, I picked some Roxy floss to stitch it with. It's charted in all DMC, but this reminds me of my friends. So we're going to have a call, I think next week, and I'm probably going to start this that day because a couple of them have stitched it. I think we're all stitching it. And I bought these flosses when I was with them, and I'm going to be putting it on this 32 count Albarium by Cedar River Linens. Can you tell how much I love Jody's fabrics? Go check out Cedar River Linen. Cedar River Linen, just absolutely beautiful. And this is just like the most perfect off-white, not white, just a little dusting of light gray. Look how pretty this is going to be. Stitching with Friends. Also going on this fabric is going to be arranging the KitchenAids. I have arranging the vegetables in my kitchen hanging up, and I've wanted to do this for quite some time. So I am going to be stitching the outlines in cast iron skillet because arranging the KitchenAids, cast iron skillet, of course. And then the insides I'm doing with like the coloring in part I'm doing with the DMC. Is it called for DMC? No, it's not. It calls for all Gentle Arts, but there is a DMC conversion. And so I just pulled DMC for the color parts, but I am going to use the cast iron skillet for the outside. So for the outlines. So those are the next two projects that are both a little smaller, a little more reasonable starts than some of the things I may have started last month. It's good to have a little mix. And then the last one I'm going to show you, because I'll probably start it right when I get back, is another magazine start. This is just cross stitch from April 2021. Pardon me. You can tell apparently there's a couple things I want to stitch in here. Oh, look at that. There's like multiple flags. So many flags. Oh, that's cute. I apparently I love the Irish blessings. I want all the Irish blessings. I mean, I am pretty Irish. My name is Erin. This is cute. Look at that. That's pretty. But that's not what I'm stitching. What am I stitching? I'm going to be stitching this vintage Easter bunny. He's carrying an umbrella because it's probably going to rain. It always rains here, I swear, on Easter. So, and this one's small. It has quite a floss list. I'm going to cover up there's the floss list. It has quite a floss list. I kitted this up like probably 3 years ago. And at the time, why? I don't know. Don't know why. I converted it to sulky. Look at this floss list for that tiny little rabbit. It'll be fine. But I converted it to sulkies. So I have all of the sulky threads. I think I had just bought for my birthday the like 2 big carriers full of sulky. And so, look at all the sulky. But I mean, some of these colors are amazing, right? Hello. Hello. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I'm going to use 1 strand on this. Who knows? I don't know. It's some type of linen in an ivory off-white. Maybe it's a 36. Might be a 32. I don't know. But I'm going to use 1 strand of sulky on it. And that's vintage Easter bunny. I love that the background, I don't know if you can see, but the background is charted just in half stitch. So this should be pretty quick, despite all the bajillion color changes. And maybe that will be a start and finish this month. So that's it. That's what I have planned for the first half of April. Can't believe it's April already. So thank you for hanging out with me and coming to see what all I've been up to. And if you have any of those charts and want to start them with me, or you started things in March along with me, let me know in the comments below. And I appreciate you all being here on this journey, and I hope you all are doing well. And until next time, keep stitching. Bye.